Welcome to another episode of Something Else Vlogs. This vlog is for people who have realized and are fascinated with the fact that we are always searching for something else. No matter what we have achieved, no matter what we have accomplished, we're always searching for something else. And that search is the beautiful context of our lives. I want to go ahead and invite you guys, if you like this idea and this concept, and if you like this video, go ahead and like it, and please subscribe to this channel. This week's episode is about COVID-19. It is about, I'm basically just going to talk about like how COVID-19 started, from when it started to now, and like what's happened in society and in my life, and how the leaders have dealt with it, how I've felt about that, and how I've coped with it as a result. And then the big takeaways that I've gotten from COVID-19 as well. So basically, COVID-19, started hearing about it in 2019, December. Read an article in a scientific journal, and it wasn't a scientific article. It was just like a little blurb, like, hey, this is just kind of like a little highlight thing. This is happening, and this virus and out of Wuhan, China, and a lot of people were getting affected. And then didn't really hear anything else about it until like the end of like February. I was in class, and my teacher was talking about, oh, hey, we're starting to talk about COVID-19 in our staff meetings, and like we might have to go online eventually. And then in March, a week before spring break, they stopped class. So we had like an extra long spring break, and then whenever we came back from spring break, everything was online. So I went ahead, during that time, we started to have social distancing and mask mandates. And that was difficult for me because I'm a social person. And it was hard because we had to wear masks to do things, and I felt like it was a loss of freedom. And it was a loss of freedom before we really understood what was going on. So it was kind of out of fear. It was like, oh, we're fearful of people getting COVID and dying, so we're going to go ahead and just shut everything down. And so it was difficult for me. So I went ahead and took off. I went to Mexico because I didn't like the social distancing and the mask mandates. I went to this beautiful little fishing village. And I had a good time. It was cool. It was fun. I did get COVID-19 either when I was down there or on the way down there. I was sick for about 4 days, and I had trouble breathing at night, and then it went away. But the last 2 days of that trouble breathing at night, I started to not be able to taste or smell, and then I couldn't taste or smell for about 10 days after that. That's how I knew it was COVID-19. That's never happened to me before, and come to find out that's a common symptom of COVID-19. So that's how I knew that I had COVID-19. So I came back from spring break and was doing online school, and I was just pretty bummed out about the whole situation. And so like I said, I was bummed out, and so I just, as a way to cope with that, I just kind of like did school, worked. I was working online in a therapeutic environment, and I played more guitar. And that was able to help me. And then I surf regularly. I go in the ocean, and that's a way for me to just have like a physical thing as well as like a spiritual connection, nature, and really good for me. But at that time, there was a public officials going on the news telling people that if you go to the beach, you're going to get $1,000 fine. Kevin Faulconer, the mayor of San Diego at that time, here's a quote from him. It says, "The actions of few can take the lives of many." And he said this quote in a speech where he was on the news, and he said that if people were going to be at the beach, they were going to get ticketed and fined $1,000. So this was really difficult for me. Again, I didn't understand how being in the water surfing was going to stop the spread or increase the spread of COVID-19. Come to find out, it wasn't, and it wasn't, but people were acting on fear. And this was frustrating for me. This is one of the things that was frustrated, that society let the leaders act out on fear instead of knowledge. And so That was difficult for me. So I got around this by going to Newport. Newport didn't have that mask mandate. I mean, they had mask mandates in big stores, I think, because that was coming down from the governor, but they didn't restrict people from going to the beach. They were getting pressure from the governor for doing that, but I think the mayor stood up and was like, hey, this is against our freedoms. Like, you're trying to take away our freedoms and you don't have the right to do that, so people can go to the beach. So I would go up to the Wedge once a week with my son, and we had a really good time doing that. Really cool. And that's kind of how I got my beach fix during that time. So I just got through that semester of school, and then I went back to Mexico. And at this time, I was frustrated and I didn't understand, but I was also trying to be aware of other people and like not wanting to spread the virus and be cognizant of that and take care of others. And I kind of realized at that time that I couldn't control other people. I couldn't control like what the government was going to do. I couldn't control if other people were going to be living based off fear, but I could control myself. And I could control what I thought, what I said, the food and the water that I put into my body, and how I treated other people. So I started to really focus on that. I started to change my mindset, and there was like a paradigm shift that like, let's go ahead and use this time to tap into you and can control yourself and be the man who you want to be the person who you want to be consistently. And so I went back to San Diego in July, and I was really lucky to score a July 4th weekend swell. This wave right here is July 5th. And I was like, okay, what am I going to do? I'm working a little bit right now online. What am I going to do before school starts? And so I went ahead and I ended up remodeling my patio. Here's a before picture, and here's an after picture. And I did this in the spirit of, I'm going to control what I can control, and I'm going to take care of myself, and I'm going to use my energy for something positive instead of being bummed out about what we can and can't do. So I did that, and it was really cool. Now I have like an awesome patio and a jacuzzi back there, and it's really nice. Um, and yeah, it was fun. And then so October, school started. I got settled into San Diego State because I'm a transfer student. And I drove back down to Mexico. And whenever I drove down there, so I'm renting a room in a house in Mexico, and I have my car down there. And I'm having fun. I'm just basically like going to school, or I'm surfing first thing in the morning, and then I'm going to school and I'm working. And that's basically what's going on there, and I'm having a blast. And so November started, and I started to get to know people a little bit better down there and connect with people, and it was really fun. And so since then, I've been just going back and forth between Mexico and San Diego a lot. In December and January, I was able to spend the holidays with my family. Cool. Me and my son got to spend some time together. And then February, I was back to school and back to Mexico. And I think that one thing that I was disappointed with is that the administration at San Diego State didn't give us a spring break. I actually really needed a break in March, and I didn't get it. And I was in San Diego with my son, and we got to spend his whole spring break together, which was really nice. But it was broken up with me having to do homework every day. And if I had a week maybe where I wouldn't have been able to do that, would have been really nice. And I could have used that. So I thought that that was handled poorly by the administration of San Diego State. I thought that they did it to punish kids for like hanging out the semester before and having a COVID spike, which I just thought was in bad taste and a bad decision. So yeah, April came around. There's big waves. I was able to connect with a lot of people. And I mean, the biggest two takeaways that I got from this whole COVID 19 was the whole idea of that I'm able to control myself. I've kind of always known this, but I was able to tap into that and do some real big life changes, like what I'm eating, what content I consume on media and social media, and how that affects me and how that affects my thought process and my mind, and then also the importance of being able to connect with other people. That I'm so grateful of having that, and then just my knowledge of like how important that is to me has increased, which is a huge thing. So I appreciate that. And basically that is how COVID-19 has been for me. I'm down here in Mexico right now, actually doing this vlog, and went surfing this morning. It was pretty good. There's been some really good waves lately, and yeah, I just want to go ahead and invite you guys to like this video and subscribe to this channel, and please tune in next week when I discuss the importance of tuning into your intuition and tuning out of the news to feed our minds with healthy, positive information. Again, my name is William, and thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys next week.